Alright guys, welcome back. Fino here. Load up into the Sims game where we're playing the Star Wars characters. Guilty is ridiculously late for work, so we're going to go ahead and send him to work, and I will pick another Sim to do this with. I did say, I think I mentioned it, that I wanted to do something fun with these guys, something like a retail store. Not really sure what kind. We can do like a gallery, cafe, bakery thing. And so I think that sounds pretty fun. I think it sounds like a great idea. We've got a retail row that we can travel to. They've got about 23,000 simoleons right now. So we'll probably have to do something kind of small. But I'm thinking, yeah, we'll do like an art gallery. We sell Char's paintings. Get all that done. Kim's got good cooking. I don't know about baking, so maybe he'll be our baker, and we'll just kind of have fun with these guys. I am going to use a Char for this. We're going to go ahead and get ready, and I'll be back with you guys in just a sec. Alright, let's see here. There's only one retail lot available. Maybe we can always just build one here too. I think I've got a small lot that I can convert. 40 by 30. How do we keep that one open? Here we go. Another 30 by 20. Kind of small. It's next to a vet, so what the heck? Why not? We will go ahead and build here. Yeah, I want to furnish this lot. Oh, yeah. Some more bushes on the outside, I guess. I don't know why I would even have that option. That's silly. Alright, so we're going to do a bakery, cafe, art gallery. Just mash up all the things. The worst thing is waiting for these damn loading screens to hurry up. Alright, awesome. Requirements. A cash register. Alright, let's see. We'll transfer 15,000 to start with. And then we'll go through. I'm gonna go ahead and go through and delete these trees. Gives us a little extra money to work with. And then let's see here. We're gonna do a bakery. This is just kind of like the normal boring retail stuff. Here we go. Baker's cousin display case. Is this supposed to be Baker's dozen? Frigidaire. So is that like the better version of that one? Yeah, probably. Alright, let's do some walls first though. Getting kind of ahead of ourselves here. We'll do some walls. Let's go ahead and just start with a square. Maybe a little more rectangle-y. There we go. We'll definitely want a back room. For all the baking stuff, we'll need a bathroom. We'll have a men and women's. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and start placing stuff, just so I kind of have an idea of where I want to put everything. Oh, look at this little sign. Who doesn't like some decor, right? Okay, we'll have it by the bathroom. So I'll have it right here. Hey guys, how's it going? I know I just ended off with a sigh there on that audio, but basically the sigh was for two things. My husband and son were on their way home, and I was gonna have to stop doing my audio recording. And then I made this big freaking building, so I had to decorate everything and make sure that I had enough money for it. I definitely made this too big to start out with. I probably should have gone just a little bit smaller. But, you know, I like doing things the hard way sometimes, and it's a fun game, so what the heck. So we're doing a speed through of basically everything that I did to get the design going. I wanted to do like cafe, bakery, art gallery type deal. I looked online to see if there was any way that I could actually like feasibly do a cafe, and it doesn't seem like there is. There is a barista bar in the game, but from everything that I've read, once you open the store, you have to hire a barista to work that counter, and then it doesn't look like you actually get any money from it. Now, I haven't tested this out myself. Maybe it's something that changed since, let's see, when did retail come out? Was it Get to Work where you could open your own retail business? So yeah, there's definitely some updates that could have come out in the meantime, since I have all the expansion packs so far. But I haven't tested it. I thought about testing it. I'll probably do that on another recording. I didn't do it on this one. But basically, here's the bakery. There's some achievements that I got. But here's the bakery. It's got the cupcake bakery machine in the back there. I believe... Okay, it's not in there yet. I put in an easel, and then I put in a couch. And what I'm going to do in the next couple playthroughs probably is just grind there. Have the characters go through trying to get their levels up for bakery and art. In between their jobs, because I don't want them to quit their jobs just yet, because it's not profitable. And then in the future, I would like to open up like a restaurant. I think it'd be kind of fun to run a restaurant, and then maybe a vet clinic. The last patch actually introduced some bugs into my game when it came to pets, so it's kind of iffy right now on whether or not I'll do a vet clinic, but we'll see what happens. So as you can see here, Shara is about to pick someone to hire. There's 3 of my own original Sims in there. Gelt with the blonde hair. There's Ald. He's got the red jacket on. And then there's JB, the one in the glasses at the end, at the bottom row. But basically, I hired the Gelt character. And Gelt, the way that Gelt looks, and I'll flash a picture of him so you guys can see him in detail. The way that Gelt looks is the way that Gelty's supposed to look. I think back when I first made Gelty, his face hadn't changed yet in Star Wars The Old Republic. Like the way that I hadn't done any modifications to him. And then when I turned around and made Gelty, I did make modifications to how the character looked. I changed a couple of facial features, and that's why Gelt looks so much different than Gelty. So that's basically it. And I kind of hired him because I thought it'd be funny just to have Gelt working for the Inquisitor family when he is a version of the Sith Inquisitor that I have. Alright, so one of the features that I kind of like about some of the newer careers is that you can work from home. It's kind of one of my favorite things because it gives you, like, not really a whole 24-hour period, I don't think, but it gives you a lot of hours to take your sim through the steps of their career. And I think it adds a lot of depth to the Sims that the Sims 4 was kind of missing. Some various ways to make the Sims' lives deeper. And personally, it was kind of disappointing when the Sims first came out, when the Sims 4 first came out, and it was missing some of these features that gave the Sims depth. Like, you know, you actually, you know, are controlling these people, and they've got enough depth of character to actually be like more like you're actually doing a simulation running real people, you know what I mean? And so that was kind of one of my favorite additions to the game. I forget when this came in. I can't remember if it was like Get to Work or one of the other packs I have. As you can see, I do have seasons, but I think it was in City Life. I know that there's a social media career that you could do from home for sure. And, you know, I can't even remember what career I have Kemen in at the moment. I know he has aspirations for being a chef, but he's doing artwork and writing books. I think he's like a critic, actually. I think that's what the career is. And I think that came in with city life or city living. And that's a fun X-Pack to play. Kind of difficult to do with like 6 people living in an apartment because the apartments are kind of pricey. But that's kind of more if you want to do like a more legitimate playthrough. You run into problems with pricing. I mean, personally, I have used some cheats in the game, and I like that they're there. That you have that option to, if you want to use a cheat, go ahead. For this particular run through of these characters, I used the free real estate cheat. Just so the house was, it was a very expensive house. So I do a redesign of the house in a future video. So unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, I did have to do the voice work for this one a little later, when I had some more time where I could, turn off our air conditioning unit so it's a lot quieter in here, and then do it at a time of day where turning off the air conditioning unit wouldn't smother me in my own house. But here's Kem. He's making a salad. There's so many things I could say about him making a salad. And you can see the dog Cinnamon that Gelty adopted earlier in the series. I'm not sure right now what I'm going to title this, but there were some bugs that were introduced with the update from July the 31st that unfortunately had the effect of making playing with the dog in the house unbearable for me. And it wasn't a bug that I actually experienced in cats and dogs, because I usually delay buying the patches, not buying the patches, but buying the expansion packs for this game until there's been a couple of patches. And that's just more for my own peace of mind regarding bugs. What I did there with putting the grass tiles outside is I was actually having this issue where the Sims will go into the basement, but in order to go into the basement, they change into their outerwear as if they were going outside. The only thing I can think of is that when I built the basement, I didn't use the basement tool to do it. So there was effectively no ceiling. According to the game, it considered it not having a ceiling. So most of the basement is actually under the house and it's just fine. But there were parts of it that were considered to be outside. So the solution that I found was to put these grass tiles outside, and I figured everything would be fine. When I played this file again, however, they were still putting on their clothes like they were going outside. So I'm not 100% sure what the actual issue is. There have been some weird things since the July 31st patch regarding the Sims changing their clothing and then not changing their clothing into appropriate attire. For example, there is an event that one of the Sims goes to that will be in the next episode, and at that event, the Sim that goes to this event tries to automatically change her clothes, except she doesn't actually change her clothes. What she does is she's outside and it's still spring, so it's pretty cool. So she's wearing her outer gear that keeps her warm. And what happens when she goes to go change clothes, the appropriate clothes, is that she does the spin around animation to change her clothes. And then she's still in her outer gear, but for some reason the top that's the top that's red actually turns black. And then there's a later in that video, I make her change into the appropriate outfit, and she has on a black top instead of the blue top. And I go through and I try to troubleshoot that, and going into the creative sim to change her outfits, the outfits show as they're supposed to in the creative sim, but in live mode she's wearing the incorrect stuff. So It's just kind of annoying. There's some stuff that I hadn't actually experienced in my game before that were introduced with the new patch that came out. So basically here I've got Kem, and he is using the cupcake maker to up his baking skill. Oh, actually he just acquires it in this one. So it's kind of same thing, but he has a higher cooking. I think his cooking is like level 7 or level 8 now. So there's like other stuff that he can bake with the oven. And in the build that I did, I kind of did it cheaply, but there's a fridge and an oven there. And so as he levels up his cooking, he gets some stuff that he can bake. And then I sell some of that stuff. I kind of forgot actually how to play the retail part of this game. So I was kind of just like sitting there watching these customers come in, and I'm like, why aren't they automatically buying stuff? I forgot that you actually have to interact with them, and it's actually kind of difficult. If you have high confidence, you can do like special things to try to get them to buy. But I was kind of having some difficulty with it. I couldn't tell like when it was high enough to seal the deal. I don't know if he needs like extra charisma in addition to the confidence boost or what. That cut there was Kem actually went outside. There's a cat in the background. You can kind of see him. He went outside to go play with that cat. And that's not what I wanted him to do. So he went outside the building. I put in a back door so he could easily come back in. He didn't have to walk all the way around, and I canceled the cat action. And this is actually the reason for what happens later in the game is the pets are automatically proccing different interactions in a Sims queue, and you don't really have the option to shut that off like in the game. Once it procs, you have the option to cancel it, but sometimes it takes a little bit for the Sims to actually cancel it. Sometimes it freezes them in place, and that was a kind of a known issue with cats and dogs. And it supposedly was fixed with the July 31st patch, but it wasn't fixed. I'm not sure what happened between cats and dogs and seasons and the bugs that each of those introduced, and then combine it with that final patch that came out the 31st, because they had a few patches before that too. So the problem with the pets that was addressed in the July 31st patch was that the pets will no longer spam the queue to the point where the icons in your queue literally, would fly off the screen or freeze your Sims in place, and when you cancel, it just automatically queues up a new one. Unfortunately, it looks like when they went to go fix that bug, they kind of just hid the fact that the pet was spamming your queue and that those were being automatically canceled by the game. So instead of making it so the pet can't actually queue options with you, they did something else, and I'm not quite sure what it was, but whatever it was, it made the queuing that was going on invisible and kind of like auto closed by the game. But since the pets never actually stopped trying to spam the queue of any of the Sims, it didn't fix the key issue. And I kind of think that their next bug fix for that specific issue should be to actually nip all that in the bud. Like, just make it so the pets can't queue anything, and make it so that you can actually control the pets themselves. Like Sims 3, you could actually control the pets. They weren't objects in the Sims 3 like the babies have been objects for all of the Sims. I believe that the babies are technically objects. It's been so long since I've played The Sims 3, but I'm pretty sure in 3 you could also select the baby and, select its actions, for queuing up things for the parent Sims to come and deal with. But when they took that away from the pets and cats and dogs specifically, because I don't have that My First Pet stuff, whatever. When they took the ability to control the animals away from the player and gave the dogs full autonomy, but as an object, it kind of sort of really messed up a lot of stuff. At least with regards to the animals spamming the cues so hard that it almost breaks the game. So that's kind of the issue I've been having with trying to play the game really as a whole, because I love the Sims franchise. Oh goodness, I believe I had the first Sims game shortly after it came out. I believe it came out in 2000. I think I had it like 2001, 2002. So I've been with the franchise for a very, very long time. And so my previous experiences with it are also informing my current experience with it. And, you know, I come across a lot of disappointing things when it comes to this game. When Sims 4 first launched, it really felt more like it was a mobile game than a game that belonged on the computer, because they had cut out a lot of features. And unfortunately, I think with cutting out all those features from the core of the game, it ended up adding in a lot more potential for issues as they tried to kind of fix them in subsequent expansion packs, and it wasn't really working out. But this is the toll, unfortunately, that it took on this particular playthrough with this family. They adopted a dog, and unfortunately the dog was filling up their queues in the background, and there was no way to stop it. It was actually freezing my Sims in their house in place. They wouldn't go to the bathroom. They wouldn't eat anything. It was getting to the point where they were literally passing out from exhaustion because they wouldn't move, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And then I saw the dog trying to queue up actions. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Cinnamon Sugar. Goodbye, Cinnamon. You were a good